Welcome everyone to this African Intersex Community Consultation meeting that we will be having over the next 3 days.
African Intersex Movement Community Consultation Gathering in collaboration with the UNDP is a pivotal moment for the African Intersex Movement, because it shows recognition, not just our existence, but the urgent need of intersex inclusion in laws and policies and programs that can improve the lives of intersex individuals around African continent.
I feel that intersex people just need to be able to exist, and we need to end the isolation and the erasure and calling them different, because intersex people are not different. They are just like everybody else.
The past few years has been quite challenging, but we have had some wins. For instance, during COVID, when COVID hit, we were able to develop a COVID report that speaks to intersex needs, and we also, through that report, we realized that the humanitarian services greatly excluded intersex individuals around the continent. Another win is the Resolution 552 from, with the African Commission on Human and People's Rights. Before that adoption of that resolution, there was a report that was launched at the 72nd Ordinary Session, which informed the commissioners and member states about the great need to protect the rights of intersex individuals, which is a very great win for us.
Resolution 55 and Resolution 552 are quite landmark decisions, which were made by the United Nations Human Rights Council, but also by the African Commission on Women and People's Rights. With Resolution 55, it is one of the first resolutions at a global level, which specifically focuses on the human rights of intersex persons. So what these normative guidances or resolutions do is actually to suggest recommendations, to countries on ways in which they can, actually, effectively protect, the human rights of intersex people. So, one of the, important recommendations from Resolution 55, is that, the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights must compile a global report on the human rights of intersex persons. So intersex civil society organizations, including the African Intersex Movement, got an opportunity, to contribute to this report by making, submissions, and also there's going to be a panel discussion at the 60th session, of the Human Rights Council later on this year in September. So really, Resolution 55, has afforded an opportunity for intersex activists, civil society organizations in Africa, to participate in this exercise, but also to intersex persons globally. Also, Resolution 552, has also opened a lot of opportunities, for intersex persons. They've used Resolution 552, as a tool to engage policy makers at a national level. We see the developments in Kenya, where there's currently an intersex bill.
I think in order to create better coalitions and movements, it needs to stem from education, to create more awareness, and also to have resources in order to adequately build movements and coalitions to ensure that we can bring people to the conversation and not have people left out of the conversation. Yeah, I think it's important for intersex activists to come together and work across different countries and different regions. I think everything is not the same within our countries, and we all work with different contexts, especially where our lives is criminalized.
So how African Intersex Movement activists have been supporting one another is through, being there for one another through solidarity. We understand that the context where we live in is still very would I say, naive about intersex issues. So we all have each other to support one another. And that is one of the platforms that African Intersex Movement as an organization is providing for intersex leaders and activists around Africa. We also do a lot of best practices, exchange of best practices, and also sharing of tools and data that is, happening within our context.
E ter pouco de conceitos básicos sociais de que existem papéis de gênero, existem identidades. Esses conceitos básicos fazem parte da vida de uma pessoa. Como nós não tínhamos, então não temos como desmistificar ou entender esses processos da vida pessoal de uma pessoa.
À mon avis, le volet qui peut être maintenant exploré, c'est le volet recherche. Le volet recherche scientifique pour arriver un jour à dépathologiser l'intersexuation. Et ça, c'est un travail. Je vous ai dit ici que les autres médecins qui savent que je suis intersexe et qui viennent avec un discours différent de leur me considèrent comme moi-même malade.
What also keeps me going and gives me hope is that child who is born today who cannot speak for themselves, and also understanding that parents do not have the knowledge and the information that they need for all those persons that they actually have. So for me, I think that also continues to give me hope that we can do more and create a better enabling environment for intersex persons. A pessoa senta-se livre de viver como é, né, e como se identifica na sociedade, e sem ser olhado de uma forma diferente, ou alguém rotular o seu corpo por ser distinto dos outros.
Alright, we are human just like everyone. We deserve just to exist and just to be who we are.
Les personnes intersexuées deviennent aussi des pédiatres, deviennent des endocrinologues, deviennent des psychologues, les personnes intersexuées se retrouvent dans toutes les sphères de la science pour s'affirmer, non pas comme intersexes, mais comme acteurs scientifiques. Et c'est comme cela que l'intersection pourra être vue comme une situation normale et ne plus poser des problèmes.
So when I think about a just and inclusive future for intersex persons, for me it entails that having a future where intersex persons do not need to explain themselves in terms of who they are. Intersex persons can be able to enjoy rights just like any other citizen of that state without having to actually explain and prove who they are.
Just like what we have been saying, intersex individuals want bodily autonomy and self-determination of what happens to their body.